Collective. Hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Collective, we got the Venom, the Apocalypse, and the Shadow. The Venom is the idea of like nasty for the sake of being nasty. I don't know. Like the first thing that comes to my mind is like a troll. People who just troll the internet. Like it kills me. If you don't like what I'm saying, then don't watch my channel. Like, but don't come and attack me for practicing like my right of freedom of speech, my right to like process information according to the education that I've been presented with that isn't skewed with some ulterior motive of nasty. You know what I mean? Like fucking trolls, be gone. The apocalypse. The apocalypse is the lifting of the veil. You know, there's like the eye of the dragon there in the middle. And I mean, yes, the apocalypse is like one thing after another thing after another thing. But when everything is gone, you have a way better understanding of what is meant to be, you know, because the things that are ending are the things that really like, why? You know, why on all fronts? Well, and the answer to that is the idea of the shadow, right? Well, okay, so the shadow is kind of like a twofold. I mean, most things are, but the shadow can be the idea of like the integration, right? Integrating your shadow and your light. I don't I I don't know. I mean, I have Virgo Mercury, but the Virgo reads keep coming through like really heavy. But there was a there was an idea, God, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, I want to say. Time. What is it even? But it was this idea of like integrating your shadow, right? If you keep your shadow caged up and locked away, it becomes ravenous, it becomes a beast, right? And I feel like there's this idea of, for a lot of people, their shadow has been unattended. And it shows, you know, their demons pop out because but they need to pop out because they need to be done away with. Definitely a reckoning of sorts. But, you know, I mean, that is a process in and of itself. I think individually we go through that. Like when we are forced to face our shadow, then we are forced to integrate it. Because if we don't integrate it, it gets the better of us. And nobody wants that. Like that's not the goal here. That's not why we're here. The goal is to integrate it in a healthy manner with the light, right? Kind of like what we were talking about with the warrior yesterday, and there like the duality that exists. My so this is my favorite poem. I'm not gonna recite it, but it is very much to the idea of duality and extremes. It's Art by Herman Melville. It's the dude who wrote Moby Dick, and I don't like his books, but I really love this poem. It is like everything. Not everything, but it means a lot to me. But I mean, there's that idea of audacity, reverence, love, and hate. Like what unlike things must meet and mate. Yeah, I could, but I don't. I won't. It's long. I mean, it's long enough to not need to do it. But the way in which we need to be able to embody all things, because it's when we are divided within ourselves that we are rendered susceptible to extremes that prevent us from standing in our humanity, standing in the holiness of what we truly are. You know what I mean? And then we have the horse and the vow. I'm sorry, the hunter and the, yeah, no, the hunter and the vow. The vow is the idea of a promise. Yeah, I wish I could find the book. I'm trying to remember. It's something along the lines of like the smallest of promises. Be careful what you bind yourself to. Well, I think that would be the shadow side, because some people out there are trying to bind themselves to things, but they're bound with their intentions. And if their intentions are poor, if they're bad, if they're evil, if they're malicious, if they're troll like, what they've bound themselves to is probably not what they were anticipating. But don't practice binding magic, it's dangerous. Just like a fair warning to some of those practitioners out there thinking they're doing something. But the light side of that is that we can have a promise. We can promise ourselves, we can promise our family, we can promise our loved ones, like that there's an end in sight. There's beauty to be had. The mystic, the psychic, the knowing. Yeah, so I mean, I guess if we tied that all together into one cohesive thought, it would be the idea that you've had to face your shadow, you've had to face the trolls, you've had to face the ends, you've had to face the collapse of all things that could not be, that could not go with you, that, you know, the uncovering of your own power when you're willing to integrate your light with your dark. Because no is a complete sentence, and we have the right to say, no, I am allowed to speak my truth. I'm allowed to see deception for what it is and call it deception. It is not my duty or my obligation to sit back quietly while everyone tramples on me with their opinion and I watch the abuse continue. I watch reels of people being ripped out of their cars, of people being ripped out of their homes, of children being raped, murdered, gone missing, men being lynched in trees. It is not my obligation or my duty to turn a blind eye to that for the comfort of some person who is infinitely more interested in their ego and the comfort of their ego than the safety of the people. Gross intentions. But that somehow feels like it is a call to action. The hunter is very pointed, very focused, knows knows where they're going, knows what they're hunting down. Yeah, that did kind of feel like a on the hunt energy, didn't it? But, what are you on the hunt for? Why are you on the hunt for it? Whatever it is that you're on the hunt for, there is a sense of like a promise that's been made, that's backed with an intention that somehow seems fueled by like that, what remains after the apocalypse. Like that becomes the point of focus. Interesting. Okay, let's see what else we get. I hope y'all are having a lovely day today. I did. I had another lovely day. Feeling very blessed. Okay. Welcome, presence, and moonbathe in hope. Well, I mean, this is the idea of practicing presence, right? I think one of the most important things that we can do in life, and like in all things, is practice presence in the moment. Practice presence in what it is that you're doing. Practice presence in the mundane. Practice presence in the quiet. Practice presence in nature. You know what I mean? I just feel like this sense of be where you are. Have faith. We'll read Moonbathe in Hope. Yeah, we can do that one for sure. Okay. Now is the time for moon bathing in hope. Mother Moon is friend to all dreamers. She incubates your dreams and grows wings for all your wishes. She encourages all to remember not all who wander are lost. Roam, wonder, receive. She doesn't shine exclusively for the special, the brightly talented, or accomplished. In fact, she shines brightest in the dark. Embrace those hopeful rays, take a walk in her radiance, bask in her glow, have a conversation with her about all the untold stories in your soul and the wishes waiting to grow wings. Ask her to guide you through the dark night, bringing luminosity to all that's currently unknown, unseen, or unformed. It feels like a prayer, doesn't it? Yes, I'm digesting. I had chicken and rice for dinner. I swear. Okay. It does. It feels like a prayer in a moment of presence. Well, because personally, and I know that I'm not alone in this because I don't know how many people who I have had conversations with in my life who will say things like, yeah, when I'm taking a shower, things come to me. When I'm driving, like things come to me, like it's that state of meditation, right? That repetitive action that I'm present here and therefore open here. And I feel like just this practice of prayer with a point of focus around something that has revealed itself to you in the midst of like all of these ends. Okay. Well, and the vow could be aligned with the sense of prayer. I mean, there's a card in this deck for that more specifically. It's called the prayer, but it still has that same kind of energy with it. Ace of Pentacles. We get an ace, at least one ace every read. New beginnings. Well, because every new beginning starts from some other beginning's end. Yeah. Santa Muerta. The rebirth. It does. It like, there has been such a this and that energy in the reads. And, again, I feel like we're still in that energy of what was that is coming to an end, the integration of self, the knowing of the promise, the direction, the pointed direction. When everything falls away, there's only one thing left to do. Begin again. But I don't know, it just feels backed by, well, I mean, this is the idea of rebirth, right? Rebirth, you've already done it. You're just doing it again. But this time with a better understanding, this time with, I think, an integrated sense of self, instead of apologizing for saying things that are going to upset people, stopping and asking yourself, like, do I genuinely care whether or not somebody like that is upset with something that I'm saying, because they're the reason that I have to say it in the first place, right? That's how it would resonate for me. Yeah, I don't typically tell people about my channel, especially people in my life. I've found that it does not pan out well for me, but I also think that I have, with the exception of a few people, had a lot of people who just wouldn't be able to comprehend what I was saying. Or they do comprehend it and it upsets them because nobody likes when you call a spade if they're the spade. Right? What is it like? People love that you're a seer until you see them. Kind of, it's real. One of the things um, that was kind of affirmed to me with, that the organization that I had kind of studied under a little bit was, that when you practice healing, like you get attacked for it. People will attack you for it. Um, so it's important that you not practice healing with those who have no desire to heal, because they'll just get mad at you for it, right? And I think there's been a lesson for a lot of us about learning like, how do I distinguish my audience according to what I'm doing, right? But making a decision that you don't want to fight battles that, like, I'm not on your shit fighting battles with you over things that you're saying that I don't agree with. I just don't watch you. I just don't have conversations with you. You know what I mean? I just keep it moving. Because after everything ended, there was only one thing left to do. There was only one direction left to go. There was only one like song calling me. And, the 10 of Wands is kind of the idea of like holding something close to your chest, holding something, sacred, holding something true. Again, the promise. I love the King of Pentacles in this deck. The Kings in this deck and the Emperor, but they're very much the grandfather figure. The idea of being able to pass down something that is passed down for generations to come. That level of abundance, that level of wealth. And the beauty of this card is the idea that it's not greedy, it's not hoarding wealth. He's not thinking about how he can crush everyone beneath him so that he can rule over them. He is wealth and abundance and gratitude and blessings. Those who are of his lineage are blessed. Gender neutral, obviously. These are general reads, but, and they are going to resonate differently for everyone, because what has been promised to you, what have you lost that has given you a point of focus in the direction that you need to go, because it's something that you've been promised by Spirit that is pulling you into a state of reverence so that you are able to bring to life what you've been promised. Yeah. The manifestation of all of the ancestors combined. Can a little jar witch bitch touch that shit? With their power of manifestation, That is a legit frustration. That is a legit frustration. And it's not to knock the idea of manifestation in general. I don't think that it's bad at its core. I just think that it's been turned into something that is a bit of a mockery of the reality, because those are the same people who will mock prophecy or mock, like what, like there are so many of them. I don't know. My boss sent me a video today about the 3A Atlas, 3AI, 3 something like that. But anyways, they were talking about the Hopi prophecy as well. And to be completely honest with you, I really um, didn't know much about it, but I got a little bit of an education on it. Um, it was interesting. It was interesting. But, I mean, how many people have mocked that? How many people have scoffed at that? But the same people who would tell you that you can manifest your dream job and your dream house, you know what I mean? Um, but it's like, I don't want to manifest something so shallow when I have the manifestations of the ancestors. And if you think that your shallow manifestations can touch the manifestations of the ancestors, but you crazy, right? When you put it like that, the Eight of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the Two of Wands. Well, the Eight of Cups is all of the choices that you could make that you don't ever want to make. The Two of Wands is the idea of separation because, like, that will not work for me, right? This is not acceptable to me. This is not what I've been promised. But, I think going in the direction of what it is that you are intended for. And Three of Cups, also another card that has steady been coming out, the idea of celebration. Because you want to talk about power. You want to talk about magic. You want to talk about being backed by prayers, by chants, by tradition, by story, by belief, by honor. That's power. Ten of Clovers, Nine of Hearts. The tower surrounded by clouds denotes sickness and if adjoining death. The ship is the symbol of riches, and when near, it indicates wealth by inheritance or trade. It also foretells a voyage. Well, death to what was, death to what can no longer be. Death to the trolls. The ship, I mean, this feels like the Chariot, but I would put it with the Hunter because it again, it feels like a very pointed direction, a very like everything else has crumbled. This is the only thing left standing. This is the direction I'm going. And if you tell me I can't, well, I feel like this sense of protection with the shadow because if you've integrated your shadow, other people's shadows can't consume. Well, I think of the book Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. Honestly, I only ever read it one time because I didn't really enjoy it, but it was a very well written story. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it because of the storytelling of it. It's because it's very accurate. When you think about the idea of demons feeding off of energy, when you think about energetic vampires and what they do and how they tear you down and how, like they don't have logic to what they say. The only thing that they can say is like something that attacks you in a way that depicts you as a savage when what you are saying is very clearly, you know, we have a president who has shut down the White House, who is ensuring that people do not receive their benefits, who is tearing up the White House to build his ballroom, suing the government for $230 million for slander, and his feelings got hurt, ensuring that he'll take all of that taxpayer money, to punish the people, sends troops into cities, and then they cry when people don't want to let those people go to the bathroom or serve them food. But, um, you know, the whole of the nation is really having to face the fact that we are living in a modern day Holocaust. They have passed laws that make it legal to just rip people off the streets for the color of their skin. This is no this is no petty I hurt your ego kind of argument. You know? This is no petty I hurt your ego kind of war. Um, and yeah, that's a very, like political example, but wake up world. Like this is not the time to be quiet and to apologize for things that other people should be apologizing for. I don't know who that's for, but there it is. Um, yeah, well, but I mean, in terms of the idea of binding, like you have a choice. We're all the captain of our own ship, and you have a choice in which direction you want to steer that ship. And if you want to blindly bind yourself to the collapse of the nasty, then that was your choice. Like none of us are responsible for anybody else other than ourselves, right? Um, Especially in terms of our soul, especially in terms of our relationship with spirit. And we can sacrifice that for other people, but to what end? That's sacrificing your own soul, sacrificing your own self. Um, and I don't think that people are comfortable consciously making that choice. So they allow for themselves to subconsciously make it, and that's really an unfortunate lack of introspection on those people's behalf. But ultimately, no one's problem but their own, you know? Um, yeah, bound. What was the one read? I don't know. I feel like it was maybe this summer, but it was the idea of being lured into an arena and then the doors shutting and locking, and they were all trapped in there because they decided to bind themselves to that. That's what that feels like. But that was their choice, right? Just like it's our choice to not allow for ourselves to be distracted by that, just like it's our choice to honor the promise. The kiss. We get this card always. Well, the kiss is my favorite relationship card. Yeah, there are a few in here. But it is that idea of, like no matter what, you can reach out your hand and that person is there for you. And, honestly, considering the state of the world, I do kind of feel like there is that need for that knowing that no matter what, because this is not a small thing that we face, right? We need to know that no matter what, we're not surrounded by people who will just sell us out and throw us under the bus. We need to know that we're surrounded with people who are mentally and emotionally strong, um, because it takes strength to endure the crumbling. But again, I think that, there is a sense here of having a point of direction, having a point of focus, and not being alone in it. And I love that. Um, these are general reads, so please do take what resonates for you, how it resonates. leave the rest. And if it does resonate with you, please, please, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all again soon. Bye.